Touch him one more time and I'll show you what real pain feels like, the woman in tactical gear whispered, pressing the gun barrel against the thug's temple. But my story doesn't begin here. Let me tell you about the day when a small town near Grand Forks Base learned what true honor means. Write faith in the comments if you believe in providentiality in this world. The morning mist still clung to the ground when 85-year-old William Bill Thompson began his daily ritual. 3 loops around the park adjacent to Grand Forks Air Force Base in North Dakota, a tradition as unwavering as his military bearing. The carved walking cane, a gift from his granddaughter, barely touched the ground as he walked. His steps carried the weight of memories from Korea, Vietnam, and a lifetime of service that most could never comprehend. At precisely 7 o'clock, Bill reached his favorite bench near the duck pond. From his coat pocket, he produced a small bag of breadcrumbs, another ritual, this one inherited from Margaret, his late wife. The morning silence was broken only by joggers' footsteps and the distant bark of dogs. This peace, this routine, was all he had left after Margaret's passing 6 months ago. "Hey, old man, get your wrinkled ass off that bench." The harsh voice shattered the morning tranquility like a brick through glass. 3 young men, none older than 25, surrounded the bench. Their bloodshot eyes and rumpled clothes screamed of last night's excesses. The stench of stale alcohol preceded them like a warning. Bill continued feeding the ducks, his movements deliberate and calm. "Good morning, gentlemen. I'll be finished in a few minutes." The largest of the 3, sporting a skull tattoo on his neck, stepped closer. "You deaf or something? I said move." Years of military service had taught Bill to read situations instantly. These boys weren't just drunk. They were looking for trouble, seeking to prove something to themselves or each other. He'd seen their type before, in countless forms across countless years. But age had also taught him that dignity sometimes demands standing your ground, even when prudence suggests otherwise. "Son, I was here first. You can wait 5 minutes, or find another bench." What happened next would haunt the witnesses for years to come. The tattooed youth's fist connected with Bill's face with a sickening thud that echoed across the park. Blood immediately began flowing from the elderly veteran's split lip, staining his white shirt collar. But Bill didn't fall. Decades of military discipline kept him upright, though he swayed slightly from the impact. The park, which moments before had bustled with morning activity, fell silent. A woman walking her golden retriever quickly turned down a side path. A jogger who'd been stretching nearby suddenly found something fascinating about his shoelaces. Not a single person moved to help. Bill slowly reached for his phone, his movements measured and precise, despite the blood now dripping onto his coat. His fingers, steady as a surgeon's despite his age, dialed the one number he knew by heart. "Dad?" Colonel Sarah Thompson's voice carried a note of concern. Her father rarely called during morning SWAT training exercises at the base. "Sarah, sweetheart, I'm having a bit of a situation at the park." Sarah knew her father better than anyone alive. The man who'd dragged 23 wounded Marines to safety under heavy fire in the Ashau Valley didn't exaggerate. If he said bit of a situation, something was seriously wrong. "What's happening?" Steel replaced concern in her voice. "Nothing I can't handle, but I might need some assistance. I'll be there in 10 minutes. Don't move." "No need to rush," Bill started, but Sarah had already hung up. The thugs had claimed the bench, laughing loudly as they passed around a bottle wrapped in a brown paper bag. The leader wiped his bloodied knuckles on his jeans with theatrical flair. "Who'd you call, Grandpa? The nursing home?" He laughed, a harsh, grating sound. "Or maybe the morgue. Save them a trip." Bill pressed his monogrammed handkerchief, Margaret's golden anniversary gift, against his bleeding lip. The embroidered initials slowly turned red. "No, son. I called someone who'll teach you about respect." What none of them knew was that 12-year-old Timmy Roberts was crouched in the nearby bushes. The boy, skipping school and hiding from his parents, had been ready to film another TikTok video when the confrontation began. His phone captured everything. The unprovoked assault, the shameful silence of the bystanders, and most importantly, the Purple Heart pin on Bill's lapel that caught the morning light. Timmy recognized that medal. His own grandfather, an Iraq veteran, wore an identical one. With trembling fingers, the boy sent the video to his father, a sergeant with the local police department. The message was brief. "Dad, they're beating a veteran in the park. He has a Purple Heart." 20 minutes passed. Bill sat on a neighboring bench, continuing to feed the ducks as if nothing had happened. The thugs sprawled on his bench, their laughter growing louder with each swig from their bottle. The park gradually filled with people, but everyone gave that corner a wide berth. The first sign of change was the sound of engines, not ordinary vehicles, but the deep growl of tactical trucks. The noise crescendoed until 3 black armored vehicles rolled directly onto the park's paved pathway, their tires crushing fallen leaves. Sarah Thompson emerged from the lead vehicle like an avenging angel. Full tactical gear, rifle at the ready, her presence commanded immediate attention. 8 SWAT operators followed, each moving with the fluid precision of elite warriors. They wore no visible weapons beyond their sidearms, but their bearing alone radiated lethal capability. "Where is the man who struck First Sergeant William Thompson?" Sarah's voice cut through the morning air like a blade. The park froze. Even the birds ceased their chirping. The thugs scrambled to their feet, spilling beer across the bench. Their bravado evaporated like morning dew under the sun. The leader's face drained of color as he realized the magnitude of his mistake. We didn't know," he stammered. "Silence." Sarah's command voice, honed through years of leading tactical operations, brooked no argument. "On your knees, hands behind your heads. Now." What followed changed everyone present forever. Sarah approached her father, removed her tactical helmet, and in a gesture that stunned the gathering crowd, dropped to one knee before him. "Sir, I've arrived as requested. Forgive the delay." Bill placed his bloodied hand on his daughter's shoulder, a gesture both paternal and formal. "Rise, Colonel. Your timing is perfect." One of the SWAT operators produced a tablet and activated a portable projector. Against a nearby tree appeared an image, a young Marine in Korea, covered in blood, dragging a wounded comrade to safety. "This is the man you struck." Sarah's voice was ice and steel combined. "First Sergeant William Thompson, Medal of Honor recipient, saved 23 lives under enemy fire in Korea, wounded 4 times, refused evacuation until the last man was safe." The image changed. Vietnam now. A younger Bill, company commander, providing covering fire as his men retreated. Silver Star, Bronze Star with oak leaf cluster, Purple Heart with 3 awards. The thugs couldn't lift their heads. The leader began to sob, the sound pathetic in the morning air. "But you know what's truly shameful?" Sarah's gaze swept the gathered crowd. "Not that you struck a hero, but that no one, not one person, stood up to defend him." "That's not true." Young Timmy Roberts burst from his hiding place, his parents and several police officers rushing behind him. "I recorded everything. I sent it to my dad. He's a police sergeant." Sergeant Roberts nodded grimly. "We were all ready." "En route, Colonel Thompson. Patrol units have sealed all park exits. These 3 aren't going anywhere." What happened next transformed a moment of shame into something profound. People began emerging from the crowd, one by one, approaching Bill with downcast eyes. I need to apologize." The woman with the golden retriever stepped forward first. "I was scared, but that's no excuse." "Me too," the jogger admitted. "I was a coward." One by one, the witnesses acknowledged their failure, their complicity through silence. The police prepared to arrest the thugs, but Bill raised his hand. "Wait. I want to say something to these young men." He walked to the leader, still kneeling, on the cold ground, and gently lifted the young man's chin. "Look at me, son." Tear-stained eyes met Bill's steady gaze. "You didn't hit me because I was weak. You hit me because you thought I was alone, that no one cared. But you were wrong." Bill gestured to the assembled crowd, his daughter, the SWAT team, the police, the repentant witnesses. You see, we're all connected. Every action has consequences. Every choice creates ripples. You thought strength was in your fists, but real strength, he touched his chest, is here, in honor, in courage, in standing up for those who can't stand for themselves. I'm sorry, the thug choked out. I forgive you, son. But society won't. You'll face justice, and I hope that teaches you to think before you act. As the police led the arrested men away, Sarah embraced her father. I have a confession, she said quietly. What's that? I lied to them. I said I'd be here in 10 minutes. It actually took 25. We waited deliberately. Bill looked at his daughter in surprise. Why? Because I knew you'd handle it. You always do. But sometimes, people need to see that even heroes need protection. That silence in the face of injustice is complicity. Smart girl, Bill stroked his daughter's cheek. Just like your mother. The incident in the park created ripples that spread far beyond Grand Forks. Timmy's video went viral. Not the violence, but the moment when Sarah knelt before her father, when the crowd acknowledged their failure, when an old soldier forgave his attackers. The local school invited Bill to speak. His opening words stunned the assembly. I'm not a hero for saving lives in war. What makes me a hero is that I didn't respond to violence with violence, that I believed in justice, that I gave you all a chance to redeem your silence. The mayor established the Brothers Keeper program, a rapid response system for public violence. Timmy Roberts became its first youth coordinator, and those 3 thugs. After serving their sentences, they returned to Bill, asked for forgiveness. And the old soldier, true to his nature, took them under his wing, taught them discipline, respect, honor. Today, all 3 serve in the military. On their desks sits a photo with Bill on the day they took their oath. A year later, the park installed a memorial plaque. It reads, "Here on June 23rd, 2024, we all learned a lesson. Honor lies not in the strength of a fist, but in the strength of spirit. Courage is not in attacking, but in defending. And most importantly, silence before injustice makes us accomplices." Dedicated to First Sergeant William Thompson and all who have the courage to stand for what's right. Bill still walks the park every morning, but now he's not alone. Neighbors join him. The former thugs in their service uniforms went on leave, school children from Timmy's program, and every time he sits on that bench to feed the ducks, he remembers Margaret's words, "Bill, your strength isn't in what you can do. It's in what you choose not to do." Sarah visits often, now heading a special unit protecting veterans. Her team is called the Honor Guard, and Timmy Roberts? He entered the military academy. His entrance essay read, "I saw how one punch could change countless lives, how silence can be louder than screams, and how forgiveness can be stronger than revenge. I want to serve a country that produces people like William Thompson, people whose honor doesn't need defending, but deserves it." This isn't a story about revenge or violence. It's about how one person's dignity transformed an entire community, how quiet courage can speak louder than any shout, and how true strength shows not in striking a blow, but in the ability to withhold it. Remember, every time we witness injustice and turn away, we become part of it. But every time we stand up for truth, even belatedly, we make the world a little better. After all, real heroes aren't those who never fall. They're those who rise and lift others with them. The morning mist had long since burned away by the time the park returned to normal. But something fundamental had changed. In a small corner of North Dakota, near an airbase where warriors train, a community learned that honor isn't just a military virtue. It's a human imperative. Bill Thompson still feeds the ducks every morning. At 7. The bench bears small scratches now, testimony to that day. But like the man who sits there, It endures. Strong, dignified, unbroken. And if you happen to pass by early some morning, you might see an old Marine feeding birds, surrounded by people of all ages. You might wonder what draws them together. The answer is simple. They're learning that in a world that often rewards the loudest voice and the strongest fist, sometimes the greatest courage is found in restraint, the deepest strength in forgiveness, and the truest honor in standing up for those who cannot stand alone. Because that's what real heroes do. They don't just fight battles. They transform battlegrounds into classrooms, teaching us all that dignity preserved is victory achieved, and that a community's character is measured not by its ability to punish, but by its willingness to protect, to learn, and ultimately, to heal. The ducks still come every morning, accepting breadcrumbs from weathered hands that once held rifles, now holding hope for a better tomorrow. And in that simple act, repeated day after day, lies a truth more powerful than any weapon. That honor once displayed creates ripples that never truly fade.